Not only was date night a good excuse to go take a drive with 10.9 in assertive mode, but it was also the first night that we're driving with Tesla insurance. Here's the coverage I have with Tesla insurance, which is comparable to what I had with my previous insurance, where I was paying $90 a month. The one thing about Tesla insurance is the lowest deductible you can do is $500. I had a $250 deductible on comprehensive. But it's crazy to see that if I can keep this 100 score, my insurance would drop down to $27.31 a month, down from 90, which is pretty amazing. We covered 73 miles total. On the way up, we took back roads like you're seeing here, took the highway on the way back, and the safety score you're seeing is at the end of the 73-mile drive. On the way back, we decided to try for a no intervention drive, and we largely made it. There were a few times we had to intervene with the accelerator pedal, but the car pulled us out of the parking lot, drove us all the way home, no interventions. We'll start off with this maneuver. The car pulled, so I thought it was going to stay in this lane, and to my surprise, it decided to change lanes here in a second at the green light. So after doing this, I know that I'm going to have to go around this curve, and I could not remember if this turned into a turn lane, the car was going to be trapped, and I knew it narrowed down at some point. So luckily, this car on my right, the white car, wasn't going too fast, because once I get past this stoplight, it's going to narrow down here pretty quickly into merge into one lane. Car did it seamlessly, merged right in, and handled it like a champ. So it was pretty impressive what it did right there. It may have just gotten lucky, but nonetheless, it impressed me. Here I complained about, I just passed the 30-mile-an-hour warning sign, and I was going 5 miles over the speed limit. I ratcheted it back to 40. The car's not really slowing down. Here I hit 30 miles an hour. Technically, I am speeding. This is a real problem in speed-trapped towns. So I'm going to let this play out. I'm still going over the speed limit. Now I'm at 35. A cop might let me get past that, but I've gone so far into this speed zone that I'm over the speed limit that Tesla's going to have to be able to address this for these speed-trapped towns, because you'll get nailed. Gives a chance to do an unprotected left turn into the sun. Really blocked on the left. It has to creep up. Okay, stop for it. Clear to go. Hesitated a little bit, but then made the right turn. Going into our first stop on the way up, going into a business, car gets into the center lane and waits its turn, and pretty smoothly, a little bit of jerkiness there, but pretty smoothly made its way into the business. Coming out of the parking lot, going to see when I can engage it, but the problem is going to be the car is going to just take off, and it's blind to the left and right, and you'll see it like wants to dart out without even really looking, and here's a car coming to my right. So that was not good at all. So that's got to be behavior that's got to be addressed. I made that left there, came up to the stop sign, and I was kind of surprised that Beta looks like the tentacle is pointing to the right, but it doesn't want to move. There's nobody behind me, so I'm going to let it go for a little while. Let this car here make its left, give it a little more time. Eventually I'm going to press the accelerator here. It just doesn't want to budge. So we'll go ahead and press the accelerator. Once we do make this right turn, we're going to make another right out onto the road. And the car is really reticent to go beyond this first car. So I'll give it a little bit of time. I'm not delaying anybody. Eventually I'm going to start pressing the accelerator. It looks like the car should be able to make it. I don't know if the snow is giving it some pause, but here I'm pressing the accelerator to force it up to the stoplight. Now it's going to eventually start to creep on its own here, but it wants to go for it in a second. I'm going to have to stop because there's a truck coming, or a car, and I had a couple of these incidences where the car just wants to go for it. Here's another one where the car's making a bad decision. So traffic's coming, but we'll see here in a second, the car is going to decide to try and go forward or go to make that right turn. when there's traffic coming. So I'm going to have to intervene, disengage. So I don't understand what the car is thinking in this circumstances. Here the car is going to nicely get into the left turn lane. So far so good. I'm expecting with this control light, probably a relatively easy, simple left turn. But what surprised me once I make this left is we're in a turn lane. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So we'll get out of here, but I'm kind of surprised it found that turn lane. Here I'm trying to get out of another business, and it's struggling a little bit. I'm going to have to give it a little bit of acceleration. Now I've got a car behind me. Going to give it a little more acceleration, force it out here. Now the car gets really confused. It needs to go right.
I got honked at because
yeah, you did.
The car can't figure it out.
I do love the maneuver the guy that honked at me makes right here, though. This is kind of fun. He pulls out, makes this left to get back. So I don't know if he meant to make a left back there originally, but some great human driving. Car didn't flinch at all with that SUV pulling out, just paused a little bit and kept going, so it was nicely handled as well. Here, the car, if you look at the screen, it can't see two lanes. It's two lanes here, but it's veering into the middle and just hogging both lanes before it finally gets behind that car on the left. And here, if you watch the screen, you'll see some lines start to appear. So badly marked roads confused Beta that there were two lines here when it just thought that there was just one line. So this happens pretty frequently where local rules say there's no line, but it's really two lanes. So it's not handling that really well. We arrived at a restaurant, had to go around the block to find a parking space. So good chance to cruise around the neighborhood a little bit. Make this left, and because of the snow, it's going to be narrowed down. This car is going to give me the flashing light. It's okay. I decided to see what the car would do, but now this guy wants me to come, so I have to disengage. So it's almost like this game of chicken bet, who wins, but the car needs to understand that flashing light from the guy is the signal to please proceed ahead. It's a pretty impressive blind left turn. There's cars parked on the left of the road and on my right, so it's really impossible to see. You really have to inch out.
I can't see. I can't see. Got a car coming. Okay. Another car coming. Left. Okay. All right, you made it. All right, that's pretty impressive. I made it out. Maybe it was just lucky.
Here's another right turn that's a little bit blind. A little slow, but not too bad overall. Still trying to find a place to park. Now we've left the restaurant. I'm getting a lot of this weird noise from the pedal.
I've never heard it make that noise before.
Yeah, what's all that about?
No, it's like it's just trying to punch up a little bit here. I think it's just trying to do the steering wheel.
Oh.
All right, so it's got a gap here. All right, good. All right, made it out of the parking lot. Got a guy on the right side. He's going to veer out for that guy. That's nice.
It's going to struggle to find this on-ramp. It slows down, struggles a little bit. Maybe it's because of the snow. There's nobody behind me, so I'm going to just let it see how long it takes to ramp up. So that wasn't really a great entrance onto that ramp. This left turn has been challenging in the past. The car always wanted to be on the right, and since 10.8, it's getting into this left turn lane, because when I was in the right turn lane, it always wanted to veer to the left at the turn. So finally, the car is deciding to get into this left turn lane, which is good. But we're still on our no engagement, disengagement drive to get home. So this is a big one to try and make. And nicely, smoothly stayed in its lane and accelerated through. So I was happy with that one. Coming up is our last great challenge to get home with no interventions. It's looking good if we can make this, because this left has proved challenging with oncoming traffic.
It's not going to make this turn now. It's going to make it. All right.
So in the end, we actually had to make just another couple lefts and rights, got back to our neighborhood and made it probably about 36 miles with no disengagements. A few taps of the accelerator to keep things going, but Beta got us from A to B without really any interventions. Thanks for watching.